The most challenging part in math is solving problems. Now, problems about set and normal problems in math are different. In set problems, you have to know the concept of Venn diagram because in Venn diagram, it is very visible. The data in Venn diagram is very visible for us to answer in every question of the set problem. So this is the solution to set problems. That's my opinion, the Venn diagram. Now, solving problems using Venn diagram. There are two things that you need to learn on Venn diagram for you to solve set problems. Number one is you should know how to interpret data in Venn diagram. And the second is you should know how to plot data in Venn diagram. So let's review. Number one, know or interpret. You should know how to interpret data in Venn diagram. The second is you should know how to plot data in Venn diagram. That is the two things that you need to learn in solving set problems using Venn diagram. Now let's have an example. Okay, an example of a Venn diagram. Okay, a Venn diagram. Now, the Venn diagram shows 75 students' involvement in two sports, swimming and basketball. Now, if you see, there are two circles given because there are two sports given, swimming and basketball. Now, swimming stands for S and B stands for basketball. Now, let's interpret each of the data found on this Venn diagram. What is 15? What is 20? What is 30? And what is 10? This is the answer of your question. So, interpretation. 15 are students involved in swimming only, and 30 students involved in basketball only. So, 15 only swimming, and 30 is only basketball. He or she doesn't like other, uh, like 15. These students doesn't like basketball, and 30 students doesn't like swimming. And what is 20? 20 students involved in two sports. So these 20 students, uh, they like both swimming and basketball. And what is 10? And these students did not join any of the two sports. So maybe these following students like Sungka or any sports. Now, another example of a problem. Okay, so here is the Venn diagram. So the data above the Venn diagram shows 58 students who like math, English, and history. Now, there are three circles that we draw here. It's because there are three subjects involved. We have math, English, and history. So M stands for math, E stands for English, and H stands for history. Okay, let's interpret what is 10, what is 9, what is 2, what is 3, 6, 8, 5, and 15. So, what is 10? So 10 students like math only. So these students don't like English and history, only math. These students love math. And 8 students like English only. So these 8 students love English only. They don't like math and history. How about 15? So these 15 students like history only. They love history. How about 6? So these 6 students like English and math only. So two subjects, English and math. Okay, how about 5? So this 5, look at 5 in the Venn diagram. It belongs to circle H and it belongs to circle E also. Now these 5 students like English and history only. So these students don't like math. And what is 2? So these 2 students like math and history. So math and history. So 2 belongs to circle M and circle H. Now, what is 3? So these 3 students like the 3 subjects. So these students like math, English, and history. Okay, and what is 9? 9 are students don't like any of the 3. So maybe these 9 students like recess or like Filipino. These students don't like the 3 subjects. Okay, that's one of the example of the interpretation of the data in the Venn diagram. Now let's proceed to the next. Okay, now this time we are to plot the data in Venn diagram. Because we are done with interpretation of data from Venn diagram, this time I will teach you how to plot data in Venn diagram. Okay, so here's the problem. There are 27 students were surveyed, and it reveals that 13 students like singing, 18 students like dancing, and 8 students like singing and dancing. Now, how are you going to plot all of these numbers in the Venn diagram? Imagine 27 students and 13 students like singing, 18 students like dancing. So when you add the two, 13 plus 18, it's already 31. It surpasses 27. So this problem for the beginners is confusing. So 8 students like singing and dancing. How are you going to make a Venn diagram out of this data? Here is the technique. You will start you will start at the bottom. Okay, but first, you need to make a Venn diagram, you need to have a rectangle. Then, a rectangle or a quadrilateral, put the universal set there. Afterwards, try to assess on your problem. How many are the skills given? We have number 1, singing, number 2, dancing. Is there any other skill mentioned in the problem? There's none. So therefore, you need to have 2 circles, 2 sets only, because only singing and dancing was mentioned in the problem. Now, you'll be having S for singing and D for dancing. Okay. Now, to plot this data in Venn diagram, you start at the bottom. You start plotting the data at the bottom. Okay, so you start with 8 students like singing and dancing. And where we are going to put these 8 students like singing and dancing. So, like singing and dancing, where should we put these 8 students? It should be on the intersection of S and D at the center. So there you put the 8. Then afterwards, you generate these 18 students like dancing. So there are 18 students like dancing. So 8. 8 belongs to D. Circle D. Now, what number to be added to 8 to get 18? So there is 8 already for D. Now, what number to be added to 8 to get 18 for dancing? So therefore, for dancing only, no. What number to be added? What number to be added to 8 to get 13? So it's 5. Students like singing. It's 5. Then what number to be added to 8 to get 18 on dancing? It's 10. So look at the Venn diagram. So we started with the bottom, 8 students like singing and dancing. Then we generate the second data, which is 18 students like dancing. So 18, there is 8 already. Then we need to add 10. And for 13 students like singing, we need to add 5 in order to get 13. So that's how you will uh, plot data in Venn diagram. Another example. Okay. Now, there are 27 students. And if you are to add 5 plus 8 plus 10, 5 plus 8, 13, plus 10, 23. 23, only 23 students found on this Venn diagram. So, there are 4 students who are not involved in the two talents, two skills. Because 5 plus 8, 13, plus 10, 23. So, there are 27 students. Where is the 4? So, the 4 are the students who are not involved in singing and dancing. So, and it is outside the 2 circles. That's 4. Okay, here is the next example. Okay, so plot the data below in Venn diagram. So here is the data. There are 51 students per asked if it reveals that 26 students like volleyball, 22 students like basketball, 26 students like tennis, 14 students like volleyball and tennis, 7 students like tennis and basketball, 13 students like basketball and volleyball, and 5 students like all 3 sports, and 6 students don't like all 3. Okay, how are we going to plot this many data, many numbers in Venn diagram? Imagine there are only 51 students and the numbers here are 26, 22, 26. When we add up all of them, I I assure you that it surpasses 51. So how are we going to plot this in Venn diagram? Of course, you are to make first a rectangle or a quadrilateral, and you put U, which stands for the universal set. Then, afterwards, how many sports involved in the problem? We have volleyball, basketball, and tennis. How many sports? There are 3. So therefore, we need to draw 3 circles. Okay, we need to draw 3 circles. Now, so there are 3 circles that we need to draw on this problem. So B stands for basketball, V stands for volleyball, and T stands for tennis. Now let's plot these numbers. And the technique again is you start at the bottom. You start with 5 students like all 3 sports. So you need to plot first, or you need to put, okay, here. So you need to put numbers here first, the center. So 5 students like all 3 sports. So start at the bottom, and this is, okay, here is it. That's 5. You start with 5. So 5 students like all 3 sports. And afterwards, you will generate the other data, including 5, using 5. So generate the other data using 5, because 5 belongs to the 3 sports. So the next one is, so 5. Next, there are 13 students like basketball and volleyball. So basketball and volleyball. So there is 5 already. What number to be added to 5 to get 13? And that number will be put on the space in the intersection of volleyball and basketball. Here it is. So that's 8. So 13 students like basketball and volleyball, because 8 plus 5 is equal to 13. Now next, how about students? 7 students like tennis and basketball. So tennis and basketball. So this is the space. This is the space. Now tennis and basketball. There is 5 already. So what is the number to be added to 5 to get 7? Answer is 2. So tennis and basketball. Now next is 14 students like volleyball and tennis. Volleyball and tennis. So there is 5 already. Okay. There is 5 already. Now where should, okay, what is the number to be added to 5 to get 14? What is the number to be added to 5 to get 14? That's 9. So that is. So that's how we are to plot the first 1, 2, 3, 4 data in Venn diagram. Now next, we are done with 14. Next is 26 students like tennis. Now look at tennis circle. There are numbers already. We have 2, 5, 9. 2 plus 5, what is the answer? 2 plus 5 is 7. Plus 9, 16. And what is lacking to 16 to get 26? So tennis is 26. We have 2, 5, 9 already. We have 16. If we add up all the three numbers, 16 plus or 26 minus 16, the answer is 10 for tennis only. So we had solved the circle for tennis. Now we will solve the circle for basketball. Circle for basketball. Okay. Now look at the circle for basketball. We have already the numbers inside the circle for basketball. We have 2, 5, and 8. So that's 2 plus 8. It's 10 plus 5 is 15. Now 15. What number to be added to 15 to get 22? For 22 minus 15, the answer is 7. Okay, we solved already for the circle for the basketball. Now let's solve for volleyball. Volleyball. There are 26 students like volleyball, and the circle for volleyball, there have numbers already. We have 8, 5, and 9. When we add up 8 and 5, that's 13. Plus 9, 13 plus 9, that's 22. And there are 26 students. So lacking 4. Okay, lacking 4. So we had solved the volleyball, we had solved the basketball, and we had solved the tennis. Now, if we add up all of these numbers, can these numbers could sum up to 51? So let's add for the basketball. For the basketball, for the basketball, we have 7 plus 8 plus 5 plus 2. So 7 plus 8, 15 plus 5, 20 plus 2, 22. Okay, 22 for basketball. Plus 9, 22 plus 9, 31. 31 plus 4, 31 plus 4, 35. 35 plus 10, it's 45. So these numbers sum up, these numbers is only 45. And there are 51 students. Where is the 6? So the 6 students don't like any of the 3 sports. That's how you are to plot data in Venn diagram. Okay, now, so here is the problem. So 140 students were surveyed. The Venn diagram shows the number of students who enjoy singing and dancing. So 100 students are surveyed. So here is the Venn diagram. Okay, a Venn diagram. So here is the Venn diagram. So Venn diagram, we have view for universal set. Then there are 2 circles we are to draw. It's because there are 2 sets given. We have 2 talents given, which is singing and dancing. So Here is the question. How many students enjoy dancing but not singing? Dancing but not singing. Or shall we say dancing only? How many students enjoy dancing only? Or dancing but not singing? The answer is 32. So the second question. What do you think is the answer for this question number 2? Singing or dancing? Do you still remember or in operations of set or means union? Other way of saying you are to add up all of the numbers. That's singing or dancing. That's 43 plus 55 plus 32. In all, you add up this. 43 plus 55 plus 32 equals 130. So there are 130 in all. Next, letter C, singing and dancing. Do you still remember what is and? Do you still remember what is and in set operation? And stands for intersection. And the answer is 55. That's intersection. Okay. Now, how about neither singing nor dancing? So these students don't involve in sports, in two talents. They do not involve in singing and dancing. How many? So imagine there are 140 students. And if we add up all the numbers inside the two circles, it's only 130. 43 plus 55 plus 32. It's only 130. So what number to be added to 130 to get 140? So it's 10. Okay. So these lacking 10 students don't like the two talents or they do not involve in two talents. Therefore, 10 students. Okay, that's it.